Good afternoon to you. I'm Stacey Ann Providence. C News is live. Topping the news at this time, the search continues for missing hiker Richard Baird. C News understands that 4 search teams have been mobilized to search for 55-year-old Baird, who disappeared off a hike trail in Aripo on Saturday. We spoke with his son, Kern Baird, about the search efforts earlier this morning.
The search that I'm aware about started a little after 7. Yeah, we met up at the police station in Arimo. We got the briefing, and then we mobilized up here and they went in. This is more or less the assembly point for the hike, and I would want to have an idea that they are walking in about between 2 and 3 hours, and more or less the search will expand around there.
Baird was among an island hikers group of approximately 60 people who ventured on a 10-hour hike through the Aripo forest to the Hollis waterfall. He went missing shortly after 5 p.m. on Saturday as the group was making their way back from the waterfall. The younger Baird is remaining optimistic that his father will be found.
But I'm more trying to keep the strong approach for my family members, my sisters and my brothers and everyone. So I'm just trying to keep the face until confirm reports otherwise.
Police are investigating 3 murders which occurred in the past 12 hours. The incidents occurred in San Fernando, Matura and Sangre Grande respectively. Peter Christopher tells us more.
4 p.m. on Sunday, Public Transport Service Corporation mechanic Carlos Samuel left work at the Kings Wharf Transport Hub and went to his vehicle, which was parked nearby. Witnesses said they heard no gunshots, but moments later, 50-year-old Samuel was found in his car with gunshot wounds to his abdomen. He was taken to the San Fernando General Hospital where he underwent surgery. However, despite the efforts of the medical staff, Samuel of Manoa Trace Parakpur went into cardiac arrest. He died shortly after 8 p.m. In an unrelated incident in Matura, Richard Sorzano was found at Ice Cream Corner shortly after 6 a.m. this morning by a quarry worker. He had gunshot wounds to the face. Sorzano of Sangre Grande had started work at the quarry just last week. In the latest incident, shortly after 9 a.m., Curtis Smith was shot dead at La Puerta Road, Diego Martin. Smith, known to many as Birdman, had reportedly got into a fight with a man earlier on Monday. However, moments later, 3 men came out of a Nissan 80 wagon and shot him at close range. He died at the scene. Investigators are currently on the scene of that murder. Peter Christopher, C News.
And a teenager has died following an accident along the Solomon-Huchoy Highway on Sunday night. Reports are shortly after 10 p.m. the teenager was driving his white Mercedes-Benz along the southbound lane of the Solomon-Huchoy Highway near Gandhi Village, Debe, when he got into difficulty. He lost control of the vehicle and crashed into a ditch at the side of the roadway. The driver died on the scene while a front seat passenger in the car was hospitalized. We're still awaiting the identity of the driver. And police have shot and killed a man in Couva. According to reports, at around 6:30 p.m. on Sunday, police confronted a man in the area. We are told he became aggressive to them and opened fire. The officers returned fire and killed him. The man, who was identified as Trevvon Walters, is said to be from Claxton Bay. This is the C News Live Report at noon. Remember, you can keep up to date with all the latest news on our website at ctvtt.com, or you can check out our Facebook and Twitter pages at C News Live. And Prime Minister Dr. Keith Rowley is to meet with several stakeholders in Tobago today to discuss the inter-island sea bridge. Over the past few months, Tobago has struggled with cargo issues following the departure of the Superfast Galicia, while there have been regular breakdowns of the TNT Spirit and the TNT Express, the main passenger ferries. Last month, the Cabo Star arrived and has begun taking up the task of transporting cargo to Tobago. However, the contract for the passenger vessel, the Ocean Flower 2, was cancelled 2 weeks ago. The media hasn't been invited to the meeting itself, but will cover a press conference scheduled following the meeting. On the line, we have Patricia Nicholson, who will give us an idea of the mood in Tobago.
Well, yes, the meeting between the Prime Minister and Tobago stakeholders is scheduled to start at 6 p.m. at the Matura and Sangre Grande. So, at first, the media was invited to broadcast the meeting live, But that has since changed as there will be a press conference following the meeting at 4 p.m. Now, President of the Inter-Island Truckers and Traders Association, who I interviewed on Monday morning, said he has no expectations of the meeting. He said several meetings were held prior to the securing of the vessel, and they said their position which was not considered. Consultant at Elson Walk and Associates Limited, David Walker, also shared the same position. He too has no expectations of the meeting. He said the government needs to be transparent with the entire process. On Facebook a short while ago, political leader of the Tobago Forward's Christian Moore says she expects nothing to come out of the meeting either. Many on Facebook, though, are questioning why only a select few were invited to this meeting, and why the minority leader, what we can be seen, political leader Christian Moore, and even Hochul Charles, who's also a political leader, were left out, and why the media isn't allowed to carry the meeting live. They're also questioning what it is that has to be discussed that the average Tobagonian cannot hear. But invited stakeholders said they will mince no words in the meeting. Of course, TV will carry the press conference live at 4 p.m., so it is expected that details of the meeting would be made public. For now, I'm Patricia Nicholson reporting for News in Tobago.
And thank you, Patricia. To other news now, Nicole Dyer-Griffith believes that the recent issues surrounding the Congress of the People elections has hindered the party's image further. She says the decision to postpone the election not only affected the public perception, but the morale of the membership.
There are many persons resident within the organization, both members and who are interested in the party. They are feeling a sense of wariness because all of these shenanigans really do not assist with the bolstering of the COP, not only the image of the COP, but it doesn't really assist with persons looking for a viable alternative.
She says this is unfortunate as she believes there is an opening in the political landscape.
People want to hear solutions. They are looking, the space is there. I saw that the political leader of the MSJ began speaking about solutions, and so this space is there for an entity to be able to provide solutions for those persons who can be labeled as marginal voters. So I think the population is a little bit wary of hearing of the COP and its election shenanigans, so that we would leave that with the current national executive and hope that they can get a quorum.
Two men are set to appear in court for the murders of Trevvon Wilson and his neighbor Tiba Thomas. Miguel McLean, a.k.a. One Eye Bad Eye, who's 26-year-old of East Dry River, Port of Spain, and the 17-year-old who can't be identified because he is a minor, will appear before a magistrate charged with murder. They will also face charges of kidnapping, burglary, and 3 counts of common assault. Mr. Wilson, 21, of Gonzales, Belmont, was taken at gunpoint from his home on August 8th by 3 armed men to the home of Mr. Thomas, 36, a short distance away. The men called out to Mr. Thomas, and when he opened the door, he was shot in the head. Mr. Wilson was also shot in the head. McLean and the teenager were charged with the murders on Sunday after police received instructions from the DPP's office. And now for the weather. For the period this afternoon and tonight, Trinidad and Tobago is expected to be mostly sunny over most areas. However, expect 1 or 2 showers during the early to mid-afternoon, with the high chance of a heavier shower and thunder shower over western areas of Trinidad. Conditions will become settled by late afternoon to give a clear evening and night. Gusty winds, street and flash flooding may occur as a result of heavy showers and thunder showers. Seas are expected to be slight to normal, with waves up to 2 meters in open waters and below 1 meter in sheltered areas. A 40-year-old man is in police custody for shooting and attempted murder following an incident involving 2 toddlers last Thursday. According to reports, last Thursday, one baby bit another baby, both aged 1-year-old, at a preschool. The parent of the bitten child, a 25-year-old man, went to the home of the other toddler, threw stones at the house, and entered the home with a cutlass and assaulted the mother of the offending baby at her home. Upon learning of this, the 40-year-old man retaliated by obtaining a gun and went after the attacker at his home at Guava Avenue, Maturita. He shot at the man several times despite the intervention of his wife. The 40-year-old man, who is being represented by Farid Ali, is now in police custody. Now, while police are seeking the 25-year-old father of the bitten child for questioning. Well, an update to a story we reported on earlier. Ryan Crawford has been identified as the driver of the white Mercedes-Benz which crashed off the Solomon Hochoy Highway on Sunday. 18-year-old Crawford of Lennox Drive, Maracas, St. Joseph, was killed after he lost control of the vehicle and crashed. His front seat passenger also received injuries but was said to be in a stable condition. No. Totally inept. That's how the Movement for Social Justice is describing government's handling of the inter-island ferry issues. The MSJ has been fairly vocal in their criticism of the Sea Bridge issue and have also rejected the decision by Prime Minister Dr. Keith Rowley to have a one-man investigator to look into the matter. A political leader of the MSJ, David Abdullah, says measures to fight corruption in the past has failed. The party, however, has a solution it believes will yield results. Janine Brown reports.
MSJ leader David Abdullah is reinforcing his party's rejection of the Sea Bridge solution put forward by the Prime Minister, saying the man appointed to conduct the investigation, Mr. Christian Mute, is not equipped to do so.
He has no legal authority to summon anybody as a witness, to get any document, to go into any office and take away a computer, to access email information, and so on and so forth.
The MSJ is also against a police investigation into the matter or having the issue go before the Integrity Commission, as it says past instances have proven these angles to be futile. They're again calling for consideration to be given to the establishment of special prosecutors on the matter.
And the special prosecutor's office can be given a significant budget, the amount that is required to hire international forensic investigators or auditors who know how to follow the money and track it down.
He says the constant criticism of the status quo has seen both government and opposition members shunning the MSJ for their stance, labelling them an insignificant party. But he is unfazed by the criticism as he believes it proves they are in fact a threat.
Because our ideas challenge the status quo, which status quo of an unequal, unfair, discriminatory economic, social and political system. That status quo is propped up and maintained and nourished by both the PNM and the UNC.
The leader was speaking at a press briefing at the MSJ headquarters in San Fernando. Janine Brown, C News.
Well, whether they win or lose, Striker Nets will play in the Big Four, but a win will make sure they play Trailblazers and not Defence Force. So when Siddiqui Guerra hit this three, he sent them on their way. Guerra scored a season-best 8 three-pointers to score 25 points, Shonal Pompey to Al Rodney, but Striker were behind 11-10. Guerra turned provider for this year.
Whether they win or lose, Striker Nets will play in the Big Four. But a win will make sure they play Trailblazers and not Defence Force. So when Siddiqui Guerra hit this three, he sent them on their way. Guerra, a season-best 8 three-pointers to score 25 points. Shonal Pompey to Al Rodney, but Striker were behind 11-10. Guerra turned the provider for this assist to Alistair Martin. The score here 40-32 in Striker Nets' favor. And when Martin did miss, Moreba de Freitas would follow. The score here 45-36 and the Striker looking to widen the gap. And the gap did widen with this three from Ronald Fig Winter. So it was in effect a fig three. Aaron Walcott hit a three of his own, but off limits was still behind by 12. The score 48-36. After Winter missed this effort, De Freitas with a second chance points over Al Rodney. The score 65-52. Now when you don't succeed at first, you try and try and try again. Rodney with third chance points, 54-65. A scramble in the middle, an audacious pass from Joel Hines to De Freitas. He knows what to do with that. And De Freitas also on the defensive end as well, blocking Shonal Pompey before sending the ball to Hines and his teammates to have fun on the other end for a 71-57 win to confirm their post-season matchup against Trailblazers.
Now we are looking forward to that series too, because how the between in the league and in the way that the between two, we feel like we could have beat them by a bigger margin and we get comfortable and we lapse and end up stealing one in the end. So we're looking forward to it to make it quick.
Now the Big Four playoffs is set to begin on September 3rd. Ian Rayson, C Sports.
Well, Jaron Thompson and Kale York will represent Trinidad and Tobago at the biennial World Junior Swimming Championships at the Indiana University Swimming Pool in Indianapolis, USA from August 23rd to the 28th. The team left on Sunday for Indiana, where Thompson will compete in the 50-meter breaststroke, the 50 and 200 free, and the 100 and 200 breast. York qualified for Worlds in the 50-meter butterfly, but will also compete in the 100-meter and 200-meter butterfly events. Both athletes represented Trinidad and Tobago at the Carifta and CC Can Swimming Championships earlier this year with distinction. And that's it for sport. And before we go, Trinidad and Tobago will see a partial solar eclipse today. The partial eclipse is expected to begin around 2:36 p.m. with a maximum eclipse at around 3:51 p.m. The event ends around 4:56 p.m. Now there will also be 4 viewing events taking place. These areas are the Queen's Park Savannah, South, the paved area around the TGIF, and this will be done by the Caribbean Institute of Astronomy, San Fernando Hill by the TNT Astro Club, UE St. Augustine Campus Quadrangle by the UE Stargazers, and the Northeast College Car Park by Northeastern College Astronomical Society. Now persons are warned not to look at the sun without proper eyewear. Even during an eclipse, sunglasses do not count. And that's the C News report at noon. I'm Stacey Ann Providence. Remember, for up-to-date and breaking news throughout the day, you can visit the C News website at ctvtt.com. Have yourself a good afternoon.